Harold Camping, a preacher from Oakland, California, is predicting the second coming of the Lord on May 21st of this year, 2011. Camping says that around 6 p.m., 2% of the world's population will be immediately raptured to heaven, and everyone else will go to hell. Do you think it will happen? We'll discuss it today on Politics and Religion.
Look, there are two things I don't discuss: politics and religion.
In my house, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion.
I'll talk to you about anything except politics and religion.
I never talk about politics and religion.
Politics determines how we'll live here on earth. Religion determines how we'll live forever. I'm Irvin Baxter. I think it's time we talk about it. We're getting close, so I need to mention that tomorrow evening and also on Saturday evening, I will be at the Bethel Tabernacle in Houston, Texas. The address 1020 FM 1960 East. The time will be Friday evening at 7:30 p.m., Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Pastor David Foss will be the host. It's going to be a great time. I hope you can make plans to attend that meeting. 7:30 Friday, 6 o'clock Saturday. There is no admission fee. We will be receiving a free will offering to support the meeting. And then on Sunday, I will be in a Spanish-speaking church. However, there will be translation. I won't be speaking Spanish, but it will be translated into Spanish, so both English and Spanish will be supported there. I will be there on Sunday morning at the Tabernaculo de Vida, and that is at Southwest 11906 North Garden Street in Houston. Sunday morning, 10 a.m., Sunday evening, apparently at 5:30 p.m. So another two services, 4 altogether in the Houston area. I hope you can join me there. It's going to be a great time. Well, we are 9 days away from the rapture, according to Mr. Harold Camping, a preacher from Oakland, California. He has the family broadcast network in California. I think it's called Family Radio. And he has sent traveling caravans all around America to give everyone a last-minute warning. Now, everything I'm saying today, I am not mocking. I believe in the rapture. However, it's not going to happen on May the 21st. But he is expending huge amounts of money. And he is predicting that at 6 p.m. or thereabout, 2% of the world's population will be raptured into heaven and the rest of the world will go to hell. Now, let's just pause for a moment. What if it were true? Now, it's not true, but imagine for a moment that it were true. What would you do? What would you do over the next 9 days different than you're doing right now? Probably, if there's anything different, maybe you're not doing the right thing right now, because we should be doing the right thing every day, right? Well, regardless of how we approach that question, I do want to give you the straight of what's happening, because already I've been interviewed by NPR Radio, and that program, I don't know yet when it's going to play, but there's a lot of interest being stirred up. Now, personally, this is harmful to the message of the second coming, because when it doesn't happen, the unbelievers are going to scoff and say, see, here we go again. We had 88 reasons why the Lord will come in 1988. That didn't happen. We had Y2K. That didn't happen. And now then we've got May 21st, 2011. That's not going to happen. So I believe personally that even though Harold Camping and his followers may sincerely believe this, that in the end it serves the purpose of the enemies of the church to for people like this to make these kind of statements, which are not going to happen. But let's get a little bit more of an insight into what he says, and then we're going to look at what the Bible has to say. Camping says the world will end on May the 21st because, now listen to this logic, listen to this, because that will be 722,500 days after April 1, 33 AD, which he believes was the day of the crucifixion. The figure 722,500 is important, and you got to follow this close, because you get it by multiplying three holy numbers, 5, 10, and 17, together twice. Okay. What? That was my reaction. I've been studying prophecy for over 40 years. And I'm at least looking for some kind of a plausible explanation as to why he says May the 21st, the rapture is going to happen. And all the proof offered, at least in this article that I'm reading here, is that you take three holy numbers, 5, 10, and 17. Where in the Bible does it say those numbers are holy? No scriptures. Zero scriptures. How do intelligent people, I mean, Mr. Harold Camping, he's built his own radio network. He has many stations around the country. He's been preaching for many years. He's 89 years of age. Now, he already predicted that the second coming was going to happen once, and he missed. But he says he's right this time, that he overlooked something the other time. But for him to say that there are three holy numbers, 5, 10, and 17, where does that come from? Where? I mean, this is the kind of irresponsible biblical scholarship that discredits the real thing. Now, we can't do anything about it. It's always happened, and it's probably always going to happen until the rapture really does happen. But nonetheless, you know, before we make statements, we need to really know what we're saying. Now, there are many prophecies that are in progress right now. I talk about them on this program every day. All of you know that. Many prophecies in progress right now. I have never said on this day this will happen. Now, I have said that there's a prophecy in the Bible with a date on it. And that's the prophecy that 7 years before Armageddon, that there will be the confirmation of a covenant, of the Abrahamic covenant that God made with Abraham, that him and his descendants after him would live in the Holy Land, and that would be their possession forever. So, Israel's right to exist in the Holy Land is much disputed today. Hamas says she does not have right to exist there. Ahmadinejad and Iran says she does not have right to exist there. And out of 22 Arab nations, 20 of them say we don't recognize Israel's right to exist there. So they do not recognize the Abrahamic covenant made between God and Abraham. So the Bible does teach that there will be the confirming of the Abrahamic covenant, and when that happens, the final 7 years to Armageddon will begin. I can't tell you what day that's going to be. The Palestinians intend to see the United Nations recognize Palestinian statehood in September of this coming year, of this year that we're in right now. So 4 months from now. Will that happen? I don't know. If that does happen, will that be the confirming of the covenant? No, not unless some way it places Jerusalem under international authority and allows the Jewish people to rebuild their temple on the Temple Mount. Now, if all those conditions would be met, we know that we're in hot territory right now, because King Abdullah II of Jordan is going to be visiting with President Obama in the next few days, and then Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is coming to speak before a joint session of Congress on the 24th. He's going to meet with President Obama right before that. President Obama is contemplating a major policy speech on the Middle East, possibly addressing all the revolutions taking place in the Middle East, plus perhaps, no commitment yet, putting forward his plan for peace in the Middle East. All this happening right now, hoping to get talks back together so that there can be a peace agreement and it will head off unilaterally declaring a Palestinian state in September, as the Palestinians are thinking of doing. So all of that is in the air right now. But can I tell you that's going to happen in September? No, I can't tell you. Can I tell you that it's going to happen next year? I can't tell you at this time. But when it does happen, it appears that we will know that we just watched the beginning of the final 7 years. So that's all we can say at this particular point. And when we see the confirmation of the covenant, will we know for sure that that's the confirmation of the covenant? Well, if they build a temple within the next 2 or 3 years after that, then I think that's going to be absolute proof that we are at the point that we have, in fact, witnessed the confirmation of the covenant, and then that date will be 7 years away, give or take a few days, from the second coming of Jesus Christ, the Battle of Armageddon, and the rapture of the church. So those are some things that we can know. However, this man says the way he knows is that you take 722,500 days from April the 1st of 33 AD, which he says was the day of the crucifixion. Now, he doesn't know that was the day of the crucifixion because nobody knows the day of the crucifixion. I've studied and studied and studied and studied. I've read the historians, and everybody says, we don't know. The calendars are inaccurate. We know approximately where it was, but we don't know. We don't even know the exact day that Jesus was born because Herod the Great was alive before he was born and when he was born, and yet Herod the Great died, according to all the history books, in 4 BC. That means Jesus had to be born in 5 or 6 BC. BC, of course, means before Christ, because they tried to fix the calendar, the Gregorian calendar, to center it around Jesus Christ, BC and AD. But somehow they missed, and they don't know for sure exactly when Jesus was born, nor do we know for sure when he died. And now then, Mr. Camping is saying that there will be 722,500 days from April 1, 33 AD until the second coming. So 722,500 days is because there are 3 holy numbers, which I suppose Camping decided were holy. I don't know why 10 is holy. That's the number of kings that will give their power to the Antichrist. That's the 10-horned kingdom. I don't know why he would say that was holy, but he says you multiply 5 times 10 times 17, and you do that twice, and you ultimately get 722,500 days, and then you add that on to the day of the crucifixion, and we come to May the 21st of 2011. I don't get it. I don't think it has any support in biblical scholarship whatsoever. Nevertheless, it is important. Now, we're going to be taking your calls in the next segment of the program. I see many of you are already lining up to be on the program. If you'd like to participate today, the number to call, 877-END-TIME. I do want to remind you that we're getting very close to the blast-off time of our tour. I can tell you when the tour to Israel is going to start. It's going to start on August the 25th and go through September the 4th. It's an 11-day tour. It is the trip of a lifetime. You will walk in the footsteps of Jesus. You will stand and see the approximate area where Jesus is going to come back to. You will stand in the area where the temple is soon to be rebuilt on the Temple Mount. So it's going to be very exciting. You'll stand in the tomb of Jesus. You'll go for a boat ride on the Sea of Galilee. If you're interested, call us. 1-800-END-TIME. That's 1-800-363-8463.
Endtime Ministries presents End of the Age, a 30-minute commercial-free TV show hosted by Irvin Baxter. Every Monday, End of the Age airs on the Church Channel at 9 p.m., Daystar at 10 p.m., and on TBN every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., all Central Standard Time. On End of the Age, Irvin depicts how modern issues like an establishment of a one-world government, the religion of Islam, a coming World War III, and more line up so clearly with Bible prophecies written over 2,000 years ago. To get tomorrow's news today, be sure to tune into End of the Age every Monday on the Church Channel at 9 p.m., Daystar at 10 p.m., and on TBN every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., all Central Standard Time. Visit endtime.com for more details or call us at 1-800-END-TIME. That's 1-800-363-8463.
The Bible prophesies about 4 great spirits which control